Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and take a look at a few altcoins as well that I'm going to throw into the mix. But as of right now, if you've been following my Elliott wave counts or my streams for the past few months, we've been monitoring three main ideas, and it really revolves around two bearish counts, meaning an A wave and a W wave, and then the third count has been a wave 1. So our perspective on Bitcoin's price action has revolved around these three counts. And just to see where we've come from, essentially we've been monitoring the pivot from the low up into this pivot at 30K as a wave W or a wave A. We were looking for an A, B, C retrace for a simple flat for an X or a B. And now we're looking for the finishing of a Y wave or a C wave. So this is the bearish counts, meaning we expect this low to be targeted. We have had one bullish perspective where seeing this low that we are looking as a target is actually protected, meaning this was actually the cycle 2 bottom and this low is protected, and now we are impulsing up to new highs. There was two ways we could see this happening. The first way was how we were seeing the other counts, as a regular A, B, C retrace, a regular flat. The second version was something a little more prolonged in time, but it was still a simple zigzag, just a little more prolonged in time. At this point, there's only still three main ideas to observe. I'm going to go over a variation that I have been looking at, but as of right now, once again, everything's been monitoring basically off of these three counts, whether this is an A, B into a C, or if this is a W, X, or Y, or if this is a wave 1 into wave 2, and we're going to impulse to new highs. Another thing has also been this flat pattern. Everything's been revolving around this flat pattern. So all these counts have been highly correlated because we expected this push up, expected the push down, and then we expected the push back up. Now, once again, it comes back to question, is this the target or is this protected? This pivot right here. Taking a look at the counts that we have right now, I am still leaning towards the ABC, the large B wave, mainly from, I would say it stems from everything actually, from structure, degree, timing. It really has everything coming together, and this is why my bias has been a large B wave personally. If we continue to impulse higher and break 50K, I might have to adopt a new bias. But as of right now, I'm still bearish on crypto and still bearish on Bitcoin, even with the Bitcoin ETF approval looming overhead. As of right now, from a timer perspective, we're looking for some similarity with the A wave and the C wave. It doesn't have to be that way. We want to at least see some type of similarity, hopefully a 1-to-1. If not, we could get potentially a 0.618% of wave A. That is potential too. I'm going to go into the lower time frame here and just take a look at this structure that we're viewing, and then we'll bring it back outward to take a look at the other counts that we're observing. So as of right now, there's two ways I can see this developing. Remember, this is the B wave right here, and now we're looking to finish this C wave of the larger primary B wave. The first way I can see this is a type of running correction right here, this ABC move. You could call it an ABC, you can call it a WXY. As of right now, it's a little arbitrary because we understand it's a three-way move, but moving on from here, I'm seeing this as a impulse up, a retrace, impulse up, a corrective retrace, and another impulse up. Now, I'm looking for a type of sharp correction here because this was rather shallow, and with the rule of alternation, we want to see something sharp. We did have this move down already right here. So what I think might be happening is potentially a double zigzag, where this is going to be a W. We'll get another retrace up for an X, and then get another ABC down for wave 4. I'm looking for this 0.3414 and 0.382 zone personally. However, if we're looking at this a little differently, meaning we're looking at the structure from the lows to where we are, there's another way I can see this, where this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, triple 1, 2. These are sharp corrections. Sharp, that's fairly sharp as well. Now we have shallow corrections unfolding for the 4s. Shallow triangle for a 4, shallow triangle for a 4, potentially another shallow triangle for wave 4. It has met the minimum requirements I'd like to see for wave 4. It's at the 0.146 for a wave 4. If anything, I could see it just coming back down here, heading to 236 and coming up. But if it happens to come down, quick retrace up, and then break the lows again, I'll mainly be looking for the 3414, 382. But this is basically saying we have one more high to come. So regardless, we're going to have one more high. It's all really about monitoring the strength of the pullback for the 4. That's really what it's about. I would like to see some type of relationship in time with this wave 2 and the wave 4. So if we were to mirror it, at least a 1-to-1, if not, half or 0.618. I want to see some type of relationship right there. And same thing for this. It's almost going, or it's got that look already for it, because all these corrections are rather short in time, and same with these corrections, they are mirroring them somewhat. We just want to see that continued. We want to see another shallow correction, shallow in time, and then break that high. Let's take a look at the WXY. This has a different perspective to it. It's saying things in the same way almost, but it's saying that we have another major high to come, because we're expecting this high to be taken no matter what right here. It's all a matter of if that is the high that creates the pivot, or if we just have one more corrective B retrace and then a push up, and then that is the finishing for the primary wave B that we've been monitoring. Taking a look at our bullish count, our WXYXZ, where the cycle wave 2 low is in, this is what I'm seeing here. It's pretty much the same thing that we've been seeing with the other counts that we're observing. And what does that tell you? It tells you directional wave degree confluence. Even though these counts differ in the long term, in the midterm and short term, they're highly correlated, meaning we have the underlying trend down. We understand what's going on, the underlying trend. The overarching trend, the higher time frame trend, is still not clear yet. It still remains to be unseen if we're full on bearish or if we're full on bullish. But as of right now, if you see these similarities, we have a triple 1-2 here, and then we have a 1 running correction 2. Same thing that we're observing with the other counts. And then as you see here, it's either another shallow 4 and then a push up, or we get a nice strong pushback for a 4 and then one more push up again. The only difference with these counts is that we're monitoring really the degrees, but also even if this isn't the counts overall, the long-term count, we still have more directional wave degree confluence coming up, right? Because after this impulse, we need a correction, and we're looking for a 3-wave move. Now this can be a wave 2 for our wave 1, or it can be a wave B. So more directional confluence coming up. Once again, it's all about managing expectations. We understand the most probable swings to come, and after those swings, we understand the manner of the function to come. We understand there's going to be there's a high probability that there's going to be a 3-wave correction coming after this. So everything's coming together. It's all about managing the expectations in the short term, then the midterm, and then the long term. Target-wise, I'm pretty much looking for at least these 2 areas, this 40,000 zone. There's a right where we explosively drop down. I'm seeing that as a high area of liquidity. Obviously this swing up here as well, I really do not want to see it come this high. If it does come this high, I'm more likely going to adopt a bullish perspective. And it's tricky because if we take a look at the WXY count that we're looking at, there is a way that we can push up there for sure. I'm looking for a moderate C, but that's only because I don't want to see price push up that far. This C wave could easily do a 1-to-1 of the A wave. But the higher it grinds up, the less probable that we are bearish in the long-term perspective. So I don't want to see this liquidity be taken, truthfully. There is one more idea that I've been kind of just playing around with. It's not really like something I've been putting a lot of weight behind. It's mainly just been like a triangle idea for this WXY is what I've been really kind of just been looking at, really. Once again, I'm not putting too much weight behind it, but I would like it if we were looking at it as a WXY. I think this has a cleaner look than the ABC for the W. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this A. I'm going to go ahead and take off this wave C. And this is kind of what I'm looking at right here personally. You know, timing wise, if we were to compare these together, almost 1-to-1 is what we're looking for. Like I said, maybe 0.618 or 786 of the wave W timing, but we're looking for something like this. It looks nice overall, personally. Nice corrective move in the middle. And then we're getting our A B, C, move up. Bringing it down to the lower time frame just really quickly. Let's go down to, let's do the 30-minute. The reason why I'm also favoring this WXY correction mainly, or the triangle, is due to the corrective nature that this is going on right now. It's very corrective. There is no real impulsive movement like this. Nice impulsive movement up, nice impulsive movement down, and then now we're just kind of correcting and ranging sideways. Looks like it's going to be a potential triangle here, is what it looks like it's going to be. Just ranging for a triangle. If not, once again, I could see this being likely, that this is a B, C. Whether the B is in or not, I could see it pushing up one more time, giving a nice push up like this, maybe even a flat, then coming down for the C. Just depends. W, X, Y. Another reason why I'm also looking for a WXY, because if this does complete like this, it'll be too short in time compared to this prior correction. I need to see it have a little more development in time, especially for a minor degree. We're looking at this as a minor degree wave 4 right here. And the other counts that we're observing, let's take a look over here. Can I get over there? Let's do the 60. And the other counts, if this does complete as a triangle 4, I'm okay with the timing of it, because look at the timing of these corrections. They're very small in time. So even though this is a minor wave 4, the expectation of drawing out in time and developing in time isn't as strong as we would need it in this count, because we're seeing this prior correction, the minute wave 4 correction, as being a larger triangle. But in this count, it's a smaller triangle, back-to-back triangles. So key takeaways is, I do expect us to come for this high. I do expect this to draw out more in time if this takes the low. If it doesn't take this low and it continues ranging, more likely it's that triangle that we're talking about, and we'll just take that high. That's really how we're going to manage the short-term price action here, manage your expectations on the short term. And then for now, that's really all I have for Bitcoin. I'm actually going to go ahead and take a look at some altcoins here, because we've had some pretty explosive price action. And I don't like to say we planned for it, but we really have planned for it, to be honest. We've been pretty aware of this. I'm going to go over my top altcoins here, the ones that I think are just have the most weight behind them when it comes to Elliott wave. They're very accurate from an Elliott wave perspective, but they've got a lot of weight in the altcoin market too. So the first one I'm going to take a look at is Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, Binance. Let's take a look at Binance. Let me see here. The main idea that I've been playing with has been two things. One, this has been a wave 3, and we're working on a wave 4. And two, this is a large WXY. That's been the main focus here on Binance. So here's our wave 3. Or wave 4 that we're working on right now. And there's two ways I can see this WXY playing out. Very close to invalidation, personally. this E wave right here is the invalidation point for this count. We have a B, C, a nice three-wave move for a W. In the middle, we have a triangle, an A, B, C, D, E for an X. Now I'm looking for an A, B, C. That's what I'm looking for. Once again, very close to invalidation here. But we do have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1. This is a three-wave move right here for wave 2, very sharp wave 2. Now you just need to see this continue downwards. Another way that I can see it, and I think it's not very probable, but it's still valid at this point, is a flat in the middle, or WXY. More likely that it'll be a flat, is something that it would be more probable. So just to help with the illustration, I'll take away the W. But in the middle here, we're still working on a wave X. It's a matter of seeing this internally as a flat pattern, meaning this is a three-wave move, this is a three-wave move, and after that, we expect a five-wave move. I mean, anything could happen here. It could even just be a ending diagonal, a running flat ending diagonal where we don't take this high. It could actually complete a impulse but still fail to take the high and be a running, or it really could complete that move here that we're looking for. I don't see this as being very probable though. Once again, it's valid, it's just not very probable personally, in my opinion. Lastly, I can see a bullish count. It's a little forced in my opinion though. It's hard to get it fleshed out too. This is a pretty expansive B wave. Internally, yes, we do have that three-wave move. Makes sense that it could be a B wave, but the strength of it is pretty high. So if I were to pull a fib on there, it expanded beyond the 0.1382 for a flat, meaning it's almost pretty much invalidated. Now there are some schools of thought where you can allow a 1.618, and as you can see, it pretty much pinged it and then rejected immediately off of it. So moving forward, I'm going to allow it at this time, but it just still makes this a little less probable in my opinion. We do have some good time relationship with these corrections as well, and overall it's a nice three-wave move. Now it's about seeing if this low and this low is going to be maintained and protected. Now we're going to want to see this move up for 1, 2, and then push up strong for 3, because we're going to be starting the intermediate degree wave 3 of this wave 1. So more directional degree confluence in the short term for this one too, because we expect some type of impulse. It's just a matter of how strong that impulse is going to be, essentially. Or, on the flip side, that high that we're approaching is protected, and we're about to push back downwards and continue the larger trend. Mainly looking for the 3414, 382 zone, right on the top of this fair value gap on the weekly, and within the fib targets for a wave Y as well. So pretty much looking for 115, 116, right around there is the target zone for what I'm looking for on Binance. Cardano, let's take a look at Cardano. Very explosive price action. There's a few different ways that I can still see this. Just to recap, either the low is in right here at what, 23 cents, pretty much right here. Yep, or 21 cents right there. Either the low is in as a cycle 2, and we're impulsing up for wave 1, or there were a lot of options on the table for this one. Either we were in a triangle, we could still be completing a larger ABC flat, an expanded flat. It could have been completed as a running flat with an expanding diagonal, or it could not be completed yet and we're still working on the diagonal. They got less and less probable. The more versions there were, the more less and less probable this got. It was definitely more probable that this was a triangle or that this was an expanded flat. Those were the most probable versions, version 1 or version 2. To illustrate where we are now, let's take a look at the bullish count. Everything's on track. I really haven't had to change anything. You know, this is our bottom right here, the invalidation. Let me drag this over here for better illustration. This is our wave 1, this expanding diagonal wave 1. Got a 3-wave retrace for wave 2, and now we're moving up for the 3, 4, and then the 5 of this wave 1. Mainly looking for a rejection around this fair value gap on the monthly if we are playing this out. If we are not bullish and we are still having a bearish perspective, or we're just monitoring the bearish counts, I'm still seeing it as this, where from the highs it was a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-wave move. And internally, we're working on a wave B. Now, once again, I say this is not probable, so I'm going to take this off because, once again, it's invalidated, and it wasn't the most probable anyways. So let's just take it off. Less clutter on the chart here. And we're left with the more probable versions that we were talking about. Version 1, the triangle, where we're completing the C. Come back down for D. We can go as high as we want here in the E as long as we respect this trend line. More likely to probably do a 0.5 or 0.618. If it is a really strong and it's trading heavily at that time, it probably could come right to this trend line for sure. Or we're moving up for this wave 3. This wave 3 for the 4 and the 5. So it just depends if we break, I'd say, the 786, which we're pretty darn close. It's less and less likely that this is a triangle. For me, I'll allow the 886, meaning it can continue moving up to pretty much right there, but once it passes that 886, it's probably more likely that it's a expanded flat and we're moving up in this manner, potentially going for this monthly fair value gap that we're looking for. And internally, there is more directional wave degree confluence, because if we do break the 886 and impulse up strongly still, yes, it could be an expanded flat and we're impulsing, or it could be the impulse for our larger count. So internally, there's an impulse here that we're viewing for 2 counts, meaning wave degree confluence. There's high probability in the underlying trend right now to continue up. Once again, it's just a matter of if price can be sustained within the 786 and the 886. That's really what's going to tip its hand here. There's two more accounts or two more assets that I do want to take a look at here. Actually, three more. Let's take a look at Matic here. I haven't been too confident on Matic, and it's taking me a while just to step back and let price develop here. I'm going to take a look at the bearish count first. Originally, we had this as an A, B, C. And I'll be honest with you, this first leg here, this entire leg, it looks better as a wave A than a wave W because of the swing structures. We have a nice 5-wave swing structure, so it does look better as an A wave. Internally, it makes more sense as an ABC. This was a tricky wave 2 to get completed. But internally, I can see this as a triangle for wave B. Nothing's changed here for this X wave. I'm still looking at this as a WXY. The only thing that's changed now is the manner of how we're seeing this. I was seeing this as a potential extended fifth. I was just really weary of it though. It just didn't look right. It didn't have the right look, right structure. It just didn't make sense. So I had to really just take a step back and just, like I said, let price action just develop. Now, I can see this as a 5-wave move for an A wave. We're working on a 3-wave move for a wave B, and then we're going to push back down for that wave C. Just like with Binance, I'm mainly looking for the 3414 and the 382. And both Matic and Binance have very similar structures in a higher time frame, so I can see both of them pretty much coming to these pockets right here. And we do have some areas of internal liquidity as well with these monthly fair value gaps to look for some reactions as well. But mainly, once again, right in between this zone, 26 to 20 cents. If you want to take a look at this from a bullish perspective, it's almost the same as like I said, Binance. It's just very difficult to see. But I can get this as a expanded flat. 3-wave move right here. We have another 3-wave move you can see like this, or you can see like this. There's the impulse again that we have in our other accounts. And that'll be an ending impulse for wave C for a wave 2 expanded flat. Now it's about monitoring this and seeing these lows be protected. Just like with Binance, we want to see these lows be protected if we're bullish. If it takes this low, probably immediately bearish at this point, because it just wouldn't make sense to me from an Elliott perspective on how we take this low and then target these highs, unless it was just one large flat pattern, which it wouldn't make sense to me based off of timing, really. I mean, we'd have to update this whole count to a cycle. That would be the only way it makes sense. So we'll keep that in the back burner as an idea. For now, I still remain bearish as always until proven otherwise. Now, the next count we'll take a look at is Sol. This one has been pretty explosive. I still remain bearish on Sol as well. Everything stems off the idea from the highs being a 5-wave move down for an A wave, and then retracing for a B wave. Where we were coming from, once again, there's the 5 waves down in the A wave. We got the push up for the A wave. We were looking for a retrace for a B wave, and then looking for a push up for a C wave. Nothing's changed overall. I mean, we're still looking for this B wave to be completed, and we're still looking for the C wave to be completed, but things have definitely changed on how we've gotten there. We were looking for just initial WXY and to be completed for B wave, but it ended up extending in time and complexity. So here's the WXY that we were looking for, right into that weekly breaker and weekly fair value gap. And originally had this as a B wave right there completed. But once again, it just corrected in time, and at this time all I can really see is a triangle like this. Looking at the internal subwaves, it's a little difficult for me, mainly because of the distance between these two corrections. This can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because this fifth wave is already larger than the third, and this third is already larger than the first, so that means this is the shortest wave, and that can't happen. So the only way I can see it right now is that this is a 1, 2, 3, we're working on a retrace for 4, and then we'll probably come back up for a wave 5. Meaning the impulses are getting smaller and smaller in time. So invalidation is going to be easy on this one because we want this final fifth impulse to be shorter in time than this impulse. So you can just draw a box and place it on top, or if you want to be more precise, you can always use a trend-based SIP extension once this wave 4 is done, so you can gauge where your invalidation zone is for the wave 5. But as you can see right here, we have a lot of room to play with. Even if it comes right here, this is what we want to see, because if it has a retrace like this to pretty much right here, we want to see it reject in this zone. Meaning if it rejects anywhere below this, that's all we want. That's all we're looking for. The more this wave 4 retraces down, the less probable it gets, and the less probable it gets for us target-wise, because it doesn't give us a lot of room to play with. So if this wave 4 just has a moderate retrace, which it should, then we'll have some good room to play with here. There is another way I can see this. And it's pretty bullish. Just like with ADA or Cardano, but it's got more strength behind it, and it's pretty evident too. I mean, when you look at the explosiveness of these legs right here, extremely strong, extremely strong, extremely strong, extremely strong. Nice corrective pullbacks in between. So everything's going for it too. And structure-wise from the top, it does still make sense as well. Although this Y wave is a little iffy, and it's basically because of the strength of the wave C compared to the strength of the wave A, which makes it a little less probable. When you look at the swings in a higher time frame, it's still a nice 3-wave move. Did land right smack dab in the golden pocket. So everything's going for the bullish perspective on this. Really, you just don't want to see price come back into this territory right here. Don't want to see it come back down there. Once it comes back down here, we're taking these lows, we're taking these lows, and we're taking these lows. I will post these counts in the Discord too for you guys to go back and look at it more easily. But for now, if you want to screenshot them from the video, you can. But let's go over the last count that I at least want to go over, and it's going to be link. just looking at it, I mean, this is a very nice power 3 right here. Obviously, it just looks beautiful. Extremely long accumulation right here. Then we had a manipulation phase right here. And then strong distribution up. It just looks extremely clean. Very, very clean. When I see power 3s, to me, it's either a wave 3 into wave 4 into wave 5, an explosive move up for wave 1, or it's usually an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for a flat. It's really where they come from an Elliott perspective, and the easiest way for me to fit them into the narrative of price action. With that being said, it's pretty much what I'm seeing right here in the middle. A flat for an X wave. At the highs, we still have this as a primary wave 1. We may need to update this to a cycle wave 1, just like with Binance and Matic. We may need to update them to cycle wave 3s, but this one we may need to update it to cycle wave 1. Nothing's changed with how we've gotten there. So looking at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we unfold the 3 4s, 3 4s. After we created the higher time frame pivots, we had a 3-wave move for W. Internally, what I'm seeing now, once again, is that flat pattern. Seeing this as an A, B, C. This A wave is tricky. Internally, here's a 3-wave move for W. I can't see this several different ways, so it's hard placing this X pivots anywhere. You know, I can see this as an internal triangle. I can see it as a running flat. So there's different ways you can place this X wave. It's a little arbitrary. It's a moot discussion, because overall we still expect this to be an A, to B, into a C. But this is a nice 3-wave move for an A, 3-wave move for a B, and then we do have an impulse for a C. So internally, this is a nice regular flat for a B wave. So now we have a 3-wave move, 3-wave move, and if we're in a flat, we expect 5 waves up. So very nice impulse, nice correction back, extremely strong impulse up. Now, just like with the other assets, and this is nice because if you've been noticing this, we're looking for this type of price action here on a lot of the assets I just went over. We're looking for one corrective pullback for wave 4. Then we're looking for a push up for wave 5. And that will complete the wave 5 of the wave C, of the wave X, or the wave B on all of our other counts too. So there's just a lot of confluence across all of these multiple assets too, that we're nearing the end of the cycle, or the pivot for the B or the X waves for the bearish counts, or we're about to push up extremely hard for our bullish counts. It's honestly one or the other at this point. So it's all tying in nicely together. Everything's tying in nicely together. Everything's being correlated very strongly. Now we just need to monitor the price action to come and the structure. So something more like this. Taking a look at the bullish perspective, this is how I can see it. I think it's a lot cleaner from this pivot to this pivot as a WXYXZ than a WXY for right now, because this is a nice 3-wave move, this is a nice 3-wave move, This is a nice three-wave move. We do have a triangle here, and then another nice three-wave move right here as well. So it makes sense as a triple through combo. It is pretty rare, I'll give it that. But internally, it's all explained very, very nicely as three-wave moves. Moving from this pivot, once again, nice explosive wave 1, nice pullback for wave 2. Here's our wave 3 again. Still looking for that wave 4. Push up for a wave 5, and that'll be our intermediate wave 1 right here. Same thing as all the other counts. We want to see some type of time relationship with this wave 2 and this wave 4. That's what we want to see. And then we want to see it take this high. After that, it's game on for the Bears, essentially. It's their turn to play. Well, if you guys like this video, please click subscribe, put a comment if there's any asset you want me to take a look at, whether it be any altcoins. If we let's say if we get 40 likes, I'll go over my other altcoins that I'm looking at, including Doge, and I'll do a request from the comments. The one that's requested the most, I'll do a perspective on that. So give this video 40 likes, like it, subscribe, comments, give me any positive, negative feedback. Just go ahead and shoot it my way. I'm also here for you guys publicly or privately. Go ahead and send me a message and I'll get back to it as soon as I can. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you later.